Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So we're going to have a look at day three. We've got an hour before day two starts. So let's quickly get over day three's analysis and where we are and what we've got so far. So the first race tomorrow is actually at Cheltenham, and the top rated is trained by Willie Mullins. It's Galopin Des Champs. Now, there's not a lot between Galopin Des Champs and Bob Ollinger, and obviously I hope Bob Ollinger wins because we're on at sixes. Wednesday or Thursday, sorry, could be make or break for us at Rating the Races. We've got sixes Bob Ollinger, sixes Allaho, 12s Time Hill, three that have big chances, and they're not those sort of prices now. They're fours, even money, and odds on. If they want to win on Galopin Des Champs, they need to go hard from the front. You know, they think he stays a bit further. They were toying with the 3 mile. And he jumps well. Well, they've got to try and put Bob Ollinger's jumping under pressure then. The concern, if I was a Galopin Des Champs backer, was what happened yesterday with Dysart Dynamo, and whether that would just be in the back of their mind. You know, we can't go too hard because the horse will just... he was going to get beat when he fell. I was going to say fall into a hole, but that wouldn't have been appropriate considering he actually fell. He wasn't going to win. Constitution Hill and John Bond were just about to go past anyway. So going from the front might set it up for the horse that can track. And if Bob Ollinger can track Galopin Des Champs and jump well, then, you know, that would be... I think Bob Ollinger can beat Galopin Des Champs. It's all about the tactics employed by Paul Townend and I think it's Rachel Blackmore, isn't it? Yeah, Rachel Blackmore. And personally, I think Rachel Blackmore doesn't get enough credit for the tactically astute ride she gives her horses. That's something she's very, very good at, and where I think she differs from a lot of jockeys. Her tactics are usually spot on. So I think she'll track Galopin Des Champs, try and sit right behind. You could even find that El Barra goes forward and tries to give Galopin Des Champs a lead to try and get Galopin Des Champs to settle. I thought they would have done that with Kilcreek yesterday in the Supreme, but I don't think anyone could have led Dysart Dynamo and not actually ruined their own chance. But anyway, I'm hoping Bob Ollinger can win. There's not a lot between them in the betting. There's not a lot between them just in general. It should be a good race, even though there's only 4. Who gets third? I think Bustleton will come through for third and pip El Barra. I think El Barra might be used to try and help Galopin Des Champs and just fade out of it later on. Moving on to the Pertemps final. Now I've got loads in this, and I'm going to pause the video again and log out so everyone can't see the rate. So, obviously rewind if you want to see who was highly rated in the Pertemps final. We've got 3 in this race. This is one of our races that we've got a few more bets in. We've got Honest Vic, who is well handicapped, and he has won off the same mark that he's running off tomorrow. If returning to hurdles suits him, he has qualified for this race, obviously finishing, I think he finished 5th in a qualifier. If that does the job, he is very well handicapped. I do like Dallas Depicton still. Mr. Swan takes 7 off now. I don't know how good Mr. Swan is. If he's good, you know, a good £7 claimer, Dallas Depicton is very nicely handicapped. And Mill Green is going to be ridden by Nico de Boinville. He's just got to keep Mill Green involved. And if he does, I think he can go close. 2 others that do catch my eye that I'm not going to back, but they are probably the biggest dangers for me. Dunboyne sneaks in near the bottom. He's the sort of horse that if it all goes right, he wins this quite nicely. A bit like Corach Rambler yesterday in the Ultima. He just needed things to go right. It did all fall nicely for him. If that happens to Dunboyne tomorrow and he jumps well, Dunboyne's going to go very, very close there. And the other one who's ridiculously well handicapped, is going to be running off an effective mark of 130, is If the Cap Fits. And I do believe that the 3 mile trip is what If the Cap Fits needs. Do I? If the Cap Fits. And I always get them confused. If the Cap Fits and Call Me Lord. Yes, If the Cap Fits wants the 3 mile, Call Me Lord wants the 2.5. They both actually run over those trips over the next 2 days. Off 130, If the Cap Fits could be, you know, absolutely thrown in there. but there could also be some younger, unexposed horses, the likes of Dunboyne, even Alaphilippe. Not really Cider Burley. We kind of know his markets. Is he good enough to beat all of these and beat the unexposed types? I've not gone for him. I'm hoping there's a couple of... What have I got? I've got a potential unexposed in Mill Green, Honest Vic, who is very well handicapped, and Dallas de Picton, who just loves Cheltenham and always runs his race at Cheltenham. So, what prices are they now? They're a little bit smaller, I think, some of them. Honest Vic is 20s and 22s. We're on at 50s. Dallas de Picton is about the price that I think I advised. And the final one is Mill Green. He's 33s. I think that's a fair price. So I've got nothing really to add there apart from it wouldn't surprise me if Dunboyne won it comfortably if he gets everything going his way. Moving on to the Ryanair. Now, I put on Twitter that I was going to tell you the best handicapped horse of the Cheltenham Festival. And I've been a little bit cheeky and a little bit sneaky here. The best handicapped horse of the Cheltenham Festival doesn't run in a handicap. It's Chanbleu. Chanbleu is only running off 148. If this was a handicap, Chanbleu would be getting between 11 and 26 pounds with his rivals, and yet he's third favourite. If you gave him 26 pounds, a lower weight than Allaho, those prices would be much, much closer. And if Chanbleu was running in the plate, he'd be favourite, wouldn't he? He'd definitely be favourite for the plate. They've chanced their arm here, and good luck to them. I don't think he's going to be good enough. I hope he's not good enough. I hope Allaho goes to the front and Paul doesn't see another rival. Of those behind, they're all a muchness of muchness, I think. Conflated won the Irish Gold Cup and probably would have been better suited in the Gold Cup at the on Friday. The others are top-class handicappers, stroke Grade 2, Grade 3 horses. I think Allaho is a Grade 1 horse, and I think he takes all of the beating here. Moving on to the Stayers Hurdle, we've obviously got Time Hill, as I've mentioned. He's made it this year. He didn't make it last year. This is the sort of price I was expecting him to be. I think, personally, Classical Dream is the biggest danger, not Champ and not Flooring Porter. I think Flooring Porter got an easy lead last year and nobody really believed that Flooring Porter could hang on, and he did. I don't think they will let him have that lead this year. I think they'll be much closer to him. I think Classical Dream will be right behind. Time Hill's not going to be far behind, and his Cheltenham form is very good, Time Hill. I think if he'd got a clearer run in the Albert Bartlett, he would have won. And I think Champ is very much similar to John Bon, in my opinion, that he's a very good horse, but he's going to run like John Bon and find that there's one or two that are just better than him. And hopefully one of those is Time Hill. Of the rest, Paisley Park could do with being left at the start. You watch Aidan Coleman have Paisley Park looking the wrong way at the start to make sure that they get left behind, see if they can run on again. And the others I don't think are good enough. The plate, it's the Craft Irish Whiskey Company Plate Handicap Chase. We've obviously got the one in this, and I've just mentioned that I felt Chanbleu was the best handicapped horse that isn't running in a handicap. Do they think, maybe, Dan Skelton thinks Spirit of the Games is ridiculously well handicapped? And he is ridiculously well handicapped. It's purely about, does he bounce back to form? The ground, I think, will suit him. Obviously, we know he likes Cheltenham. We know he goes well here normally. Harry rides. Just don't get too far behind. Doesn't need to be sitting prominent. Doesn't need to be sitting second or third. But don't get too far behind that you're just running on and doing all your best work at the end through beaten horses rather than actually getting into contention. I think my biggest danger, and one that I am going to also have a bet on in this race, so it'll be making it to my blog, is Fusa Raffles. His form is very good. This is the trip he wants. This is the course he wants. It's all about his jumping. If he jumps well, he goes very close. But he does have a tendency to make a couple of mistakes, and that does cost him, it costs him wins for sure. If he gets round safely and doesn't make too many mistakes or doesn't make a bad mistake, Fuser Raffles will be there in the finish. So I am going to have Fuser Raffles at 11-1. I'm not going to advise the 12s. 11s is available. Spirit of the Games, good to see some money for Spirit of the Games. Moving on to the Mayor's Novice, great field, 22 runners, excellent. I've written down so many unknowns. I wanted Lady Adair in this race, and as she's not, I'm prepared to just ignore the race now. Nurse Susan would be a frustrating winner because I thought she could go and run in the Imperial Cup at Sandown at the weekend. Obviously, it wasn't a bonus race, though, so I can understand why they've maybe kept her back. I think she's a very good horse. I think she will improve, and I think she can reverse the form of Love Envoy. Do you know what? I'm going to talk myself into doing Nurse Susan, just a 1-point win on Nurse Susan, as I always do, in this Mayor's Novice event. I think if the bonus had been available at Sandown, maybe they would have gone with Nurse Susan to the Mayor's, to the Imperial Cup. You know, the likes of Brandy Love, Dino Blue, Love Envoy, even Statuaire. Statuaire won the race at Fairy House that My Mate Mozzie was second and Mighty Potter was third. Well, that's a good win to win that. That's a good run. But yeah, I'm gonna go for Nurse Susan in this. I thought her effort when second behind Love Envoy was fine. She travelled well, didn't quite pick up, but I think they'll know even more about her after that run. And she's quite a big price, I think. Nurse Susan, 20-1. I think that's a reasonable price. Final race of the day is the Kimya, and we have one in this in Mr. Coffee. I do think he'll run well. Sam Whaley-Cohen takes the ride. He's just got to make sure he keeps involved, sit 4th or 5th, and that he jumps nicely. If he does, I think he will go very, very close here. He wants to go left-handed. He, in my opinion, of all of the horses in the race, if there's a horse that should be, or could be, a 150 horse that is significantly lower, it's Mr. Coffee. I do think there's still more to come from Mr. Coffee. He just needs to put it all in. And the only other one that I am going to have a bet on as well is Mr. Fog Patches, purely because I wanted to see him in the Scottish National, and I do think he'll run in the Scottish National. But with Patrick on and this trip, I think he will run well against this sort of opposition. I think he wants a bit further, but I think he'll be put in the right position by Patrick to be involved in the finish. So there's a couple, is there 2 extra selections? Fuser Raffles in the plate. 3, sorry. Fuser Raffles in the plate, Nurse Susan in the Mayor's Novice, and Mr. Fog Patches in the Kimya. Now, it is free ratings day tomorrow. The way you get free ratings this week is tell me who the horse I think is the best handicapped horse at the Cheltenham Festival that isn't running in a handicap. I've just told you about it earlier on. So send me a DM with the name of that horse. Send me your RTR username as well, and I will upgrade your account to premium for Friday. So you get the ratings for the Friday, including the Cheltenham Festival, obviously. So you get the Gold Cup, you get the Triumph Hurdle, the County Hurdle, all of those races you'll be able to see the ratings for. So all I need to know is the best handicapped horse of the Cheltenham Festival that I think is the best handicapped horse of the Cheltenham Festival that isn't running in a handicap.